Okay, hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Naven Gaming, where today we are reacting to a creator that I am always looking for an excuse to talk about, really. This is Leaflet and Asari. She is a VTuber who runs her own gaming company. She runs a studio called Angel Studios. She's kind of getting her own sort of like she outside of just herself. Her mother also tends to stream, and she's a bit of a political commentator. And other than the fact that she also streams games on Twitch, among other things, like she, makes tabletop games and she likes to talk about stuff. You know, she's actually really no different from myself, which is why I kind of like watching her content. Like, she also just has really based opinions, in my opinion. But, you know, that's, to each their own, because, again, the subject is politics, and everything about politics is always subjective at this point. But, yeah, she's a bit of a political commentator. She's also a React Andy like myself. She tends to stream games, but I don't usually watch her stream stuff because I'm strictly YouTube, like both on and off the channel. And so I don't usually go and tune into her Twitch to really see what kind of games that she streams, but you know, that's just neither here or there. Yeah, but otherwise, this is a video where she talked about how she went back to California, and I've only seen like a about like maybe 6 minutes of it, and I thought it was just so funny that I had to cover it. So yeah, without further ado, please give this creator a like and subscribe to the channel. Please go support the original video. And also, just please feel free to go check her out. Like she's also not only doing like a tabletop game. She not only makes a tabletop game, which is you can get online. It's an online tabletop RPG, if you could believe that. And not only is does she have her own like studio where she makes her own TTRPG among other things, she's also about to drop at some point another VTuber to kind of coincide with the Angel Studio brand among other things. At least I think so. She's apparently going to we're in the works helping someone basically get them debuted. So yeah, I'd say she's about to start her own sort of little VTuber company as well. So just something to keep in mind. She might be someone uh, worth keeping at least somewhat of a passing interest in. But me personally, I just like her. I just like her political takes. I also just tend to like her content. She talks about a lot of different things that have nothing to do with politics either. She's been getting into like the Shoujo controversy, among other things. That whole thing's a fucking shit show, let me tell you. But yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and just hop right into the video.
Let me tell you, okay, guys, I went to California. It was a weekend, right? It was like a Saturday. It was Saturday at like 12 o'clock, like in like noon, right? And I went to like a Target to like buy some stuff, and there was
Yeah.
one cashier. There was one cashier on a Saturday, and like it took me 25 minutes to check out. Like it was fucking crazy. I was like, what is this? Right? And then like I literally like I get back to Texas, and I go to like Heb, and there's like 8 checkout stands. Yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was crazy. It was like on a Saturday too, right? And then like the hotel guys, the hotel we were at was like, due to being understaffed, we don't clean your room. There was literally like a sign. Like when we walked in, when we got the hotel room, we got in. There was a sign that is like, yeah, we don't really clean your room. Like we don't clean your room like mid visit, because the thing is like when you go to a hotel, they usually clean your room every day, right? Like they go and they clean your room every day, right? Like do your bed and like all that stuff, right? They don't do that apparently. Yeah.
Okay, first a couple of things to unpack. Going back to California, interesting choice. Interesting choice. Um, nah, it's a. If you were expecting anything good, going back to the state of California, I imagine it's a bigger shithole than it was when I initially left it. But you know, I think she used to live in California as well. But yeah, in fact, she did actually say she used to live in California. Now that I remember correctly. But yeah, not only is I don't know where she's lived, but yeah, when it comes to employment, especially right now, I would not be surprised if they only have one cashier on staff in a lot of the stores due to the new bill that they passed, where they basically upped the minimum wage to what was it? It's 21, $30. I don't even remember. It was crazy. It was an insane amount of money. Um, so yeah, I'm sure a lot of companies are short staffing right now, and they're kind of like filing. They're kind of filing out all of the unnecessary staff and only having the bare minimum because of the fact that the minimum wage is so fucking high. Um, but yeah, and as far as hotel staffing is concerned, among other things, right? You know, like I've never really liked any of the hotels, at least in my area. I mean, to be fairly honest, they were all kind of shit. Like I've never seen a person like, and I've only been like maybe like to a couple of hotels in my entire life of living in California. I have never seen hotel staff actually clean your room like at any point in time while you're uh, visiting or you're currently out, among other things. Like I've like in all of our times, like in the few times we've been in hotels in the state of California, they have never at all been what you might consider to be professionally staffed. So that's just a funny bit of detail.
They don't. They're like, yeah, you know, due to being understaffed, we don't do that, bro.
Oh, that's a fucking excuse if I've ever heard one. Oh, trust me, you have never heard excuses until you heard a Californian make them.
Oh, did you hear about the minimum wage increase for hotel staff? Yeah, and I was talking to like my mom's friend who is a business owner, right? He's a business owner, and I was like talking to him, and he was like, dude, the minimum wage, like any minimum wage increase, like fucks us so hard because like he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I'm just gonna have to raise the prices on everything. So like, here's the problem, right? Is like you raise the minimum wage, now everything costs more, right? Because now this is exactly what happens. He goes, yeah, if they raise the minimum wage, I have to increase my prices. So what happens is like now, you know, your minimum wage goes up, but then now you're paying like so much more for stuff. Like, dude, I went and I got a beef bowl in California, right? And the beef bowl, I remember like when I was really poor before, and like, you know, me and my mom would like rely on that beef bowl. Like that would be like we would eat that all the time. It was $3 for like the beef bowl. It's $10 now. Fucking
Yeah, that's that inflation for you. That Californian inflation. Oh my god. God, the price of living in California was always awful, but just the prices for food and other type of amenities is just downright diabolical. It's despicable. We had it is a fortunate thing that we moved out when we did, because otherwise we would be stuck there buried in finances. Oh my god.
10 for the same. That's not even the same thing. It's smaller. Yeah, the dude on that fucking Yoshinoya is like $10 now. It's fucking insane, man. $18 for a mid beef bowl, says Serums. Dude, it's crazy. You see, In-N-Out is moving to California from Tennessee. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they are. So like, In-N-Out is like California's like flagship, like one of their flagship companies. Like everyone in California loves In-N-Out and is really proud of In-N-Out. And In-N-Out's moving to Tennessee. Yeah,
In-N-Out is nothing to scoff at. I've been to In-N-Out. In-N-Out's not that good. It isn't that great. I've had better, but I don't know. Maybe some people will disagree, but I just don't really care for In-N-Out. I have on it. I'm gonna say something kind of damning. I have honestly had better burgers at at a Five Guys or a Wendy's than I've had at an In-N-Out, and that might be heresy to say, but you know, to each their own.
they're like, fuck it. It sucks here too bad. And it really does, because like, dude, everything is so expensive. The gas is $5 a gallon. Like it's
Oh my God, $5 a gallon? That's off. That's fucking. That's just criminal.
Crazy. $5 a gallon. Shit is like awful. And like, man, let me tell you like another story about California. So first off, like the
Oh
food's
God,
really
please lay it on
expensive,
me.
right? Like I got like a spaghetti, like a plate of like cheese and spaghetti, and it was freaking 20.
Nice, nice. She's a pasta lover. You love to see it. I'm a pasta lover myself. It's actually kind of weird that she. Okay, anyways, moving on.
$22.
Oh my God. $22 for a plate of pasta. Go fuck yourself. I've been to the spaghetti factory, and that shit was not nearly that expensive. I think it was at least 15. Even then, that's still a lot of money for like a small plate of spaghetti at the spaghetti factory. And I need you to know this son of a bitch was across from a small ass park next to a Brendan Theaters. This thing was not exactly like what you might. I mean, it's a nice looking establishment, but they do not give you a lot for the amount that they're charging.
Like that's crazy. Like what the fuck? I remember getting.
And it was passable. The spaghetti was passable. I should also clarify, the spaghetti was just passable. My aunt makes better. Well, I mean, I've never had a spaghetti that tops my aunt's spaghetti, granted, but like it's, like passable for a restaurant is just sad.
Getting that thing for like 13 before. See, all the prices are so crazy now, right? How much is a burger there? I don't know. I didn't buy a burger, but yeah, it's really expensive, man. And it's like again, like they raise all the prices for everything. They raise minimum wage, which just makes like everything more expensive. Makes the quality of life like so fucking shit, right? It's like I said, like you go
I mean, speaking as someone who was born and raised there, it's the quality of life there has always been skeptical. It's always been kind of shit. Not gonna lie. I mean, it really depends on the RNG kind of takes you on that subject when it comes to where you're born and which family you're born into. But it it's a shithole no matter where you go. To be fair, everywhere you go, you're going to find some level of fuckery, and you can't get away from it. You can't escape it. The most you could do is ignore it as much as humanly possible, which is probably why I have developed my persecution. Well, it's obvious that's kind of why I developed my persecution complex, but it's also probably the main fundamental reason why I am so good at ignoring the shit, because it's so much easier if you live in California to just turn a blind eye to a lot of the stupid shit that goes on. The You would not believe some of the shit I have seen. It is unreal.
dude, you go to a hotel and it's like basically the service is like bad everywhere now, right? And it's like I'm not necessarily saying it's like the fault of like the people working there. It is sometimes, but basically they're so understaffed on stuff now because of the minimum wage increases that like basic things are just awful now. Like I said, like the hotels are awful, and then like you go to the store and it's like they have only one person working there, and then it takes you 20 minutes to check out. It's off. And then dude, the person who was working at the checks and they were so dude, actually I have pictures. You guys want to see some shit, dude? Do you want to see some shit from California? If you think I'm like making shit up and I'm like over exaggerating, let me show you some shit out of California real quick. I took pictures because it was so crazy. Like I couldn't believe it. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how fucking ridiculous this is, guys. Yo, chat, do you guys like Legos? Chat, do you like Legos? You wanna buy some Legos, chat? Yeah, they're fucking all locked up because people are stealing them. There's so much fucking theft that it's locked up in a fucking.
It's it is so true. You want to buy some Legos? Yep, you gotta go and get it through a glass case. You have to find an associate for that shit. You have to find a fucking grocery store clerk or associate to open up these cases. It is it is awful. And you know what's funny is that Target's not the only store that does it. And what's even sadder is that, as someone who works in retail, I can definitely tell you that it's not just California. It's Oregon. It's practically anywhere where the theft is high. The first thing people love to do is that they like to steal Pokemon cards and Legos. They love stealing Pokemon cards, baseball cards, anything that has to do with collectibles, right? And like in particular with Legos, you can sell that shit online fairly easily for like a decent amount of money because people love collecting this shit. The amount of people that I've had to help open a goddamn Lego case just so they could sift through tiny little D&D Lego like little boxes to see what kind of characters are in them, and they have like this fancy little app that allows them to scan what kind of Lego is in the box itself. Is it's just too many. It's one time too many. I should not have to sit there for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes just so a collector can find the one fucking Lego that they want. And yet, that's just my job. That's become my job at this point. Oh, I'm so glad I don't work in my. I'm so glad I don't work in my old apartment anymore, because otherwise I would be in charge of that, and that means I would have to do that. Now it's just up to other people to do it, and I'm so fucking happy about it. I don't get to do it nearly as much anymore.
Fucking glass case. This isn't the only one too. It was, dude. It was like 2 shelves. It was just shelves of locked up Legos. Like, bro, who steals Legos? They steal them because they're easy to resell. They're easy to resell on the internet. So then they just fucking steal them, right? And then like, okay, you know how I told you that the checkout took fucking forever? Do you want to know why the checkout took forever? Like they.
Do you know what's another funny thing that people will steal, but I haven't seen a lot of places lock up yet, is Hot Wheels. I mean, like my store doesn't lock them up, and I think a few other stores don't do it either. And I think the main reason for that is because that would just be insufferable. That would just be, you would have to have someone dedicated for that spot alone, because the amount of collectors who have come in for fucking Hot Wheels is insane. And they're some of the most annoying. I want to say, I don't know about annoying, but they are some of the whiny. They're. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it, we'll go with that. They're some of the whiniest people you will ever have the pleasure of meeting, and they do not give us the slightest fuck if they have to inconvenience you. The amount of times I've also been asked by these same people, "Hey, do you have more boxes in the back? Hey, do you have any more of this particular car in stock? Hey." And I'm just like, I don't fucking know any of that shit, man. Do I look like the manufacturer? We sell this shit, okay? You want to find the specific car that you're looking for? You're going to have to either go somewhere else, or you're going to have to just do what you're going to do anyways, which is just completely and utterly fuck up the entire shelves and leave a fucking pile of cars and Hot Wheels, a goddamn mess, for someone else to clean up because you can't be bothered to do it yourself. So, I don't know what to tell you about. I don't know what to tell you. Just go fucking somewhere else, or just shut the fuck up. I don't know what else to tell you. And I cannot go into the back to just bring out freight just so you can open up the box so you can find the specific car that you want. That's not how that works.
They had one person at the checkout, right? But it still took 25 minutes to check out. The reason why is because the individual items were fucking locked up. Like if you wanted like a cable or something, like a USB cable, it's locked up in a box. So like you take a box, like a locked box, you take a locked box to the cash register, and then they unlock it for you at the cash register. It's fucking crazy. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, cable.
She's lived in Texas for far too long. She's lived in Texas for far too long. Or was it Texas or Tennessee? I don't remember anymore. She's lived there for far too long. She's become so embroiled in the comforts. You know, like she's not seen the worst that it is in these blue states, man. She has not seen the absolute worst that these blue states can muster. It is truly disgusting.
Cables were locked up, like USB cables and like chargers were locked up in like a box. Like it looks like this. Hold on, I'll show you like a little picture. Hold on. I just want to make sure that like the picture is okay and there's like no shit there. Okay, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. But it looks like this. Like it comes in a little fucking plastic cube, and if you want to like buy it, you have to like they unlock it for you. It's so fun.
We have those too at my store, and let me tell you, that doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. Let me tell you something about the lockups. All right, let me tell you. Let me give you a bit of TLDR when it comes to these security measures that retail chains will employ. They don't do fuck all. They really don't. They just make it more inconvenient for you and for the customer, and they just want to add 2 degrees of separation between the people who will actually steal the shit, you know, versus the product itself. It's just that's all they want. They just want to, and they also don't want the store to be. I imagine they wanted more of a better excuse to kind of be like, well, they shouldn't be able to steal that, so I don't know how else they could be getting that. Couldn't be us, right? It could be a multitude of things. But the saddest part about this whole thing is that it doesn't help because, I mean, at least at where I work, right? Like I can't speak too much about where I work, what we do, among other things, because it might, there might be a bit of a confidentiality type of thing going, like the clause that I need to consider. But what I will say is that, and it's practically public, so it's not like it really fucking matters. But we don't even like we used to be. Uh, Basically, what we would do is that as an extra procedure, we would take the item and we would either check out the customer immediately with the item that was behind the lockup case, or what we would do is that we would drop it off over at the front desk, and so they can get their assorted items when they're done shopping for the day, right? That's how we would do it. But it's become such a massive fucking inconvenience, especially depending on which department it is. Like, especially if it's like pharmacy and cosmetics, you are basically asking for people to be running back and forth all damn day. So instead of doing that, right, they're basically just they've at some point they just gave up and they're just like, hey, just if a customer needs help, just hand it to them. Just fucking hand it to them. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares unless it's something like really expensive, like over $50 or so, or like $100. Like just hand it to them, and it's like okay. And so we've been exercising that policy that well, I wouldn't say it's policy, but we've been exercising that new standard for a good while. And the funniest thing about this whole thing is that like even when people do end up stealing shit, because there's a lot of these lockup cases now, and it's all over in most retail stores now. But it's like, even when these thieves get caught, right? A lot of the times, and I'm sure a lot of people probably know this by now, but the thieves they don't really get too much of a penalty. What they'll do is that they'll get arrested, or they'll get a slap on the wrist, and they'll be detained for a time, maybe like a few days, only to then be uh fined, give it a ticket, and just kind of fined for their kleptomania, and then they're just thrown back out in the streets. It's and if they're thieves, like what's a fine gonna do to them? They don't fucking care. They're just gonna come back and do it again anyways. Like the amount of stupidity that goes into how we enforce the law, as well as how we enforce, like thieving in some of these blue states like Oregon, California, and other places. Like it's just down that in itself is almost criminal. It's almost like we're giving them a pass simply because we just don't fucking care. I have no idea what it is. It's just annoying. I hate the process. We will build, and what's even more annoying, right, is that we will build a sufficient amount of eyewitness testimony. We will have employees, wandering around disguised as, just normal people, specifically looking for these kleptomaniacs, and we will literally they will literally be watching them, and they will build up a nice little, like, sort of like report of the things they've done, what they've stolen, and a nice little tally, a laundry list of shit that they have done throughout the entire course of being in the store, and then they'll just let them go. They'll just let them walk the fuck off unless they can absolutely get an officer there, fairly quickly. But generally speaking, what they'll do is that they'll just build a mountain of evidence, and then they'll just sit on that information, and they'll just hand it over to the authorities. And it's the most annoying thing under the fucking sun, because we are literally told we can't stop them, even if we notice that they're up to some fuck shit. Like, we are specifically told that we are not allowed to stop them, even if it's like something like as simple as just like they are blatantly like breaking open like glass cases, among other things. We are specifically told we can't do anything. You want to know why? It's because it would be far more, I wouldn't say legally liable, but it would certainly be more damaging for the company if store employees got hurt instead of like the particular suspects in question. Like, the reparations that the company would have to pay for any sort of damages, especially ones inflicted on employees, is too much for the company. And so they specifically tell us that we are not allowed to do fucking jack shit, even if we have beyond reasonable doubt and suspicion that there are some customers here who are not here to shop fairly with many of the others that come into the store, right? It's just, it's really annoying. It's kind of despicable, and it's also kind of the reasons why I just stopped giving a fuck. Because, like, at some point, right, it's just like, okay, well, if I can't do anything to stop them, if I can't do anything to really, like, if nothing that we do really typically helps, and everything is hyper dependent on whether or not the police are going to bother to do their job that particular day, then I'm just not going to give a fuck. And I'm just not going to care. Like, I'll just hand people their items, because it is just a massive inconvenience at the end of the day that people just can't get their items. Like, some people need their high power tools, some people need new batteries for their car, and that's broken down in, like, literally in the parking lot. And like, when the fucking part of your store that governs the automotive section is currently, like, down, and all the batteries are locked up, like, what are you supposed to fucking do? Like, I sadly have to be the one I'm sadly trained on knowing how to do a lot of the things that have to do with dealing with locked up items in the store. And so I often get saddled with the problem of having to do some of those things, as well as, like, that's just on the off chance that, customers need something when the other associates who govern the areas just aren't there, or they're particularly busy in the moment. But yeah, I don't mind helping out when, like, around the store when it's needed, but for, generally speaking, the lockup cases make actually doing my job that much more difficult, because depending on how busy that day is, I'm not going to be able to do fucking shit in my department, and it's annoying as hell. So, yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Fucked up, man. Like California is just so bad, man. Like everything. And you know what sucks is, like, I visited, like, my this is the terror. This is, like, the most. I'm gonna tell you the most terrible thing about California right now. So my grandma's friend lives in what do you call it? Little Tokyo, Japantown. I forget what they call it exactly, but she lives in that area, right? Because a lot of old Japanese people live there, because that area used to be, like, kind of a hub for, like, Japanese people, that they would, like, because they had, like, all the Japanese stores there and stuff, right? So she's, like, this old lady. She's really old, right? And we went to go visit her, and she lives, like the funny thing is when I visited her, I was like, dude, her house is, like, literally where the riots were. Like, I literally, like, drove right by it. Remember this place? This is where all the federal agents were, like, standing up here, and then all the rioters were trying to get in. Yep. Anyway, so basically, right, this old lady lives there, right? She lives in there with all of the old Japanese people, okay? And her building, like she used to like, when she was younger, she used to like, walk out and like go shopping and like walk out and like walk around the town, right? Like kind of like walk around the area. You can't even do that anymore because the area is completely like it's overrun with like homeless people. It's like literally like across the street from like her building are just like tents. Like fucking tents, like all the way down, right? It's a straight up PvP zone, dude. I saw a guy get in a fight with a street sign. Like I saw a dude walk up and just start punching a fucking stop sign.
Sounds like the West Coast area to me, but I could be wrong on this. There's some funny areas in California that I've only ever heard about, but I've never actually been to. My particular town wasn't exactly the worst, but it was still kind of a shithole. And if we're talking about homeless people, you would find at least one or two homeless people on a casual venture, like across town, just, walking around. Like maybe you walk a couple of miles to go watch a movie or to go to a local store for whatever reason. Like you will probably see like the occasional homeless person either walking around, sitting on the side of the road, or probably in some back alley somewhere. It's nothing new for California. California has had a lot of homeless people. And there's a reason for that, and it's because the reason why the state is full of so many homeless people, it's because it's California. It's warm. The most you have to worry about is dying from heat stroke. You don't have to worry about the cold, which I don't know if you know, but getting new threads is kind of a big deal. It's kind of a hard thing to do if you're homeless, if you have no fucking money. So going somewhere where it's warmer just makes more sense. But yeah, it's a real fucking shithole. California is just garbage. It's I'm so glad I don't live there anymore. Where I live isn't any better, but it can't be any worse than California. It could always be worse, technically, but it can't be worse than California, especially right now.
He got into like he just started like he like uppercutted it and he was punching it and he was yelling at it. He was like saying like, "Yeah, fuck you, bitch," and he's like fighting the sign. I'm like, holy shit, bro, holy shit, right? And like,
sounds like the neighborhood schizo to me. Like, we often make jokes about that back in high school. Just like we see a guy, like a homeless person in particular, acting kind of weirdly random. It's just like it must be the neighborhood schizo. It's sad, but it's literally the state of things in California that you have to often find levity in the dumbest fucking shit that happens there. That's the only way you're going to survive is by poking fun at the dumbest things you will encounter on your daily commute and ride, and as well as just existing in that god awful fucking state. I hate that place with a fiery passion.
You have to imagine like you're like an 80-year-old Japanese woman can't even walk outside of her house without that happening. So it's like, how the fuck is she supposed to go anywhere? Her safety.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't recommend an 80-year-old should be allowed to walk around anywhere. Because, I mean, like, the amount of times I have seen old people, at least in my town, get stopped to have someone try to sell them shit is one too goddamn many. It's like, elderly abuse is real, and nobody seems to pay any mind to it or even give a fuck. It's crazy. And this is one of the reasons why I say that if you meet a Californian, do not ever let them sell you shit. It is awful. Like, especially if it's California, and I can't even talk about the companies, man. Like, if it's a California-based company that you're working with, like, their HQ is in California or among other things, you might want to get that. You might want to take everything that company's about with a grain of salt. You might want to really look into some of those documentations, because they probably have some clauses in there that are fucking weird. Just fucking weird. I don't know. Like, I don't. It's one of the reasons why I don't trust anything. It's why I don't trust anything from California. It's one of the reasons why I'm just not a very trusting person, because a lot of the people there are just are just up to some fuck shit. They're just scumbags. Like, a lot of people there are just literally just charlatans. They're just fucking hyenas looking for the next big score. That's how it always felt, at least when I was in high school, because nobody there seemed really like they were at all at any point grounded in reality. Everyone seemed like they were living in their own fucking worlds, like thinking that they're fine and completely dandy, just doing whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it. Like, it's like the amount of crazy shit that goes on in California is insane. It really is. Yeah, I could. Uh, I don't even remember half the things because I just don't even care. Like, I just stopped caring. At one point I just stopped caring. I just stopped paying any heed or mind to it because I realized that if I started caring too much, right, about some of the things that I saw, I would quickly like want to just I don't know. I would quickly would be um either up shit creek all the fucking time, or I would just be really, I guess, frustrated with my existence and everything going on around me. It would just be annoying. California is a real shithole. I know some people have glamorous interpretations and ideas about what California is, and maybe that would make sense, you know, if you were like maybe like a upper middle class family. Maybe if you were like someone who had a lot of money, maybe if you were someone who's like the head of a company, or, you know, you're a fucking celebrity from Hollywood or some shit. I don't know. Like, there's no fucking way you can look at California and you can look at the state of you can't look at these towns, these cities. You can't look at San Francisco or even Los fucking Angeles and tell me that these are not fucking shitholes. The fact that you need an app to tell you where all the shit stains on the road are, and how to avoid and where to avoid them, as like a thing you can download on your phone, tells you all you need to know. It's garbage.
Is like in question, right? She can't even like fucking like go down to like the shopping district there anymore. Like, what is she gonna do? And like the thing is like when she moved in there, it wasn't like that, right? You guys gotta move her. Dude, we actually thought about it. Like, actually, like for real. Like we kind of thought.
You should. You absolutely should. You should move her out of there right. You should move her out of there quickly. Especially depending on how that state's gonna go, and it's getting worse as time goes on. I would suggest you should move her right the fuck now.
Thought about like, hey, like, you're just moving with us and stuff, like, right? 'Cause she's like my grandma's, like, she's my grandma's friend, right? But the thing is like everybody there, that's her community, right? Those are all the people that she knows, right? Like the people that live in that building with her, right? Like those are her friends. Those are the people she doesn't have anybody because her husband died, and then her son died at a workplace accident. Like a thing fell on top of him and he died. So she
No, that's sad. My condolences. It's kind of fucked.
has like no family here in America at all. But like she's lived in America for so long that like the only people she knows are in America, right? And dude, it's so fucked up. Like, it made me so mad because I was just thinking about it. I was like telling my mom, I was like, dude, she can't even fucking walk outside. She can't even walk like 5 steps outside of like her property without there being a crazy person like fucking doing drugs on the street. And like I just can't imagine like how shitty it would be like for her, you know? And like it pisses me off like so much, like, actually. And like another thing I thought about too, right? Like just another side thing. I know I'm kind of like ranting right now, right? It's so much worse than like I remember.
To get in line.
And like kind of leaving and then leaving and then coming back made me realize like how bad it was, right? Because the thing is like if you're in California, you're kind of like, the thing that they always say with like the frog and like the boiling water, the pot of boiling water, right? They always say that shit, right? And I know it's not scientifically true, but it's kind of like that idea, is that like if you're living in California, you're like, bro, like the weather is so sick and like there's ramen and like all the good food. Like I fucking love it here, right? But you don't realize like it happens so gradually. Like the shitification happens so gradually, you don't even realize it, right? And like
I mean, how do I say this? A lot of Californians are just dumb. They're just fucking dumb. You know, and I say this lovingly as a former Californian myself, that is a fair statement to make, because the CSATs system that they use to raise kids, and the California standard education system is just garbage. It's dog shit. And they make it so it's impossible to fail. I would know because I've should have failed at almost every fucking turn, and they do not want you to fail. They want you to do anything else but fail. And so they will find some bullshit way to make you succeed, even if that means they have to dumb down the lessons, or if they have to throw you into a completely different schooling system, just so that way you can do some type of course to prove that you can actually exercise some level of academic knowledge. It is insane. The fucking California education system is dog shit. It does not create winners. It certainly does not breed any intellectually sophisticated people among them. And it's no wonder why a lot of these people are fucking brain dead when they're told, hey, maybe we should probably, vote for someone else that isn't a fucking garbage politician who probably is only there just to fucking, make the shitty state that California is that much shittier. Like it really isn't that big of a stretch when you consider that a lot of the things that go on in California are results of California itself. Like California genuinely despises its own communities. It is unreal. I have never seen a state that actively hates itself more than California.
next thing you know, like there's fucking a psycho having a fight with a sign, yelling at it. Like it's so crazy. And it just makes me so mad thinking about how like there's like old people that are trapped there. Right? Like that's where they live their whole lives, since like moving. I don't know exactly like the situation of like how they came to America, but like I can't even imagine like you were living in this building, everything was fine. You had a nice community, like walk to church, like walk to the supermarket. And now it's so absolutely fucked that you can't even do that safely. And you're like 80 years old, right? So it's not like, what do you do? You're
I'm honestly surprised that she wasn't mugged at any point. I'm honestly more shocked and in awe that she was able to walk around the streets of any type of suburbia without potentially getting mugged or someone trying to sell her shit. I swear to God, I have seen it so many fucking times at like my local park, at places just like down the street, next to the goddamn theaters that I would go to just to watch fucking movies. I would see it all the time. It's almost insane how many times you will see it. It's kind of crazy. It kind of makes you go a little mental, because once you leave California, you realize, wait, I thought this was just normal. I thought this was just the average everyday American sort of experience. It's not. It's the California experience. A lot of the shit you will see in California are Californian based experiences, and so it's kind of surprising to leave the state and then realize, wait, there aren't people trying to fuck you over. There aren't people trying to sell you dumb shit at every given opportunity. Like, what the fuck is this? It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like the one time God, the one time I had skipped school, and yeah, because I was a rebel in high school. Everybody was. Shut the fuck up. But anyways, the one time I skipped some classes, right, and I'm walking down the fucking road next to, like next to the theater in my area in town, and then I met a guy who literally I was handing out pamphlets and was just like, and was just talking about some type of weird thing. I don't even remember the full context of what he was saying, but he literally was just like, like he was talking about this thing, and I'm like, what is this thing? And then he's just like, oh yeah, and he's just like, oh no, he's just like, suddenly talks, he brings up the subject of sexual encounters and of some kind, and then he's just like, and I'm like, what do you mean? And then he's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it. Just like, huh? We're gonna do it. We're gonna, like, it's basically a swingers group. I think he was advertising for some type of swingers group, and I'm just like, you have no fucking idea. You have no fucking idea who, like, he probably wasn't even aware that he was talking to a minor technically, and it's just that wild. It really do be like that sometimes. You just walk the streets of California, and you will be faced with the bizarro nature of what the state has to offer in all of its great and glorious facets. It is truly the state of all time, the worst state of all time. I have I can't even.
You're just literally stuck in an apartment building. It's like the only way to be safe. And like when I tell you that like the people that are a lot of the people there are fucking crazy. Like they're actually crazy. Like I said, like the guy fighting the sign, and there was like another. Okay, so now I'm gonna like move over to a different topic, but it's still related. Okay, so here's the other thing I don't understand, and this also pissed me off like quite a bit. They make it so like on top of like making everything super dangerous and super expensive and super fucked up, they also don't let you protect yourself as like an innocent person. And like I was thinking about it like more and more, and like I had this case where I went to this. I went to go eat at this place that I used to eat at, like like as a kid, I used to eat at this place, right? So I was like, I wanted to go there again, right? And I get out of the car, and this freaking psycho just starts yelling, and he's like, oh, you fucking morons, bro, you fucking morons, I'm gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you, right? And he turns and he starts walking straight towards me, and I remember thinking like, fuck, like what do I even do? Like I can't run, I mean, I guess I could run, but like, what am I gonna do? Like, the car is here, our stuff is in there, and this psycho is like walking towards us. I have to pay for parking, right? With the freaking meter, I pay them like freaking $4 so I can park on the side of the road with freaking homeless people everywhere, right? And I realized, like, yo, I don't have a gun right now. So like, what do I even do? Like, what if this guy like actually like runs at me right now? If he runs at me right now with a shank, or he runs at me right now, like even just tackles me, what the fuck do I even do?
You can't. You literally could not do anything. Like, that's the funny thing about California, is that you will avoid people at every given opportunity. I have literally switched lanes just so I don't have to walk next to people. It is it's a shithole. It's a fucking shithole. You do not fucking care about anybody in California. It's why I have no qualms about, that state getting nuked from orbit. I literally do not care. That state can go to hell in a handbasket. It's awful. And all the people migrating out of it, I would hold with absolute skepticism. You have no idea what kind of bullshit they're bringing with them. You have no idea what kind of baggage they have. I would be very skeptical of these people. And, to be fair, not all Californians are probably god awful. Like, I wouldn't say I'm the exception to the rule, but I would say that I'm certainly not the worst that I have seen specifically to me personally. And I certainly don't emulate them. But, like, California, man, is just, yeah, it is. Like, I would be very weary of people from California until for a fucking fact they're chill, that they're actually cool. It's I would not trust these people. I just don't trust them. I just don't trust them. Don't do it.
Berna, dude, they don't even let you bring a good Berna. Like even with non-lethal options, they still kneecap you. That's how fucked they are, dude. They only let you bring kinetic rounds. You can't even bring tear gas rounds or pepper spray rounds. Did you know that? They don't let you do that in California. And so I was like so pissed, because I was like, dude,
If I remember correctly, they don't even let you open carry. Like, the amounts of times that, like, terrible shit has happened as a result of people not having a gun is too damn many as well. except for fucking like independent store owners, like the mom and pop shops, like those people, they don't give a fuck, man. I love shopping there because you will see some of the most interesting stories happen in real time. Like we're talking, we're talking like the cashier literally arguing with a customer over like being shortchanged by a lot, or he's just a decent guy. He might have given someone some money and then he comes back for more money. And so you're just witnessing an entire drama happen in real time. It is the funniest fucking thing. And not only that, right? Like they had they're pretty fucking they're pretty fucking metal. Like they literally do not care. Like even if the law says one thing, I've seen some of the stuff behind their counters, man. They have a full blown shotgun underneath their counter sometimes. It is crazy. Some Californians, man, they just don't give a fuck. That's probably the best part about living in California to some degree. It's just like you just learn to just stop giving a fuck. Like you have no idea what's gonna go down in California. Like I kind of make it sound like it's a even worse shithole than it is. Like it's almost like going to war or something like that. But like you're really not sure what any typical day is going to be like. Like I have to preface, right, because I'm making it sound crazier than it probably is. Like the crazy shit that I would see, like some of the crazy shit that I would see would happen, like not necessarily all the time, like it may be like once a day, and that day would be like within the span of like maybe a week or two. It's like it's not like you're seeing all kinds of crazy shit on the daily business. It really depends on how often you go outside, which for someone like me who didn't like going outside, who just wanted to stay home, play video games among other things, right? And only wanted to go outside to either go to the store to buy something from the convenience store or to go watch a movie at the theaters, among other things. Like it's not a whole lot of opportunity. It's not exactly like I had a whole lot of opportunities to kind of like be outside long enough to see a whole lot of shit. But you could probably imagine it's pretty crazy if you're going out on the daily. It's got to be pretty mental. So I don't know.
This is like fucking tyranny. This is actual tyranny that like they put you in a position where you're just afraid for your own safety, and like too bad, right? Like for what reason? Like, they're going to use a gun for gun crime. They're going to do it anyway. So like for what reason do they make it that like law-abiding people can't protect themselves, right? And you might say like, well, Leaflet, nothing happened. Yeah, but something could have happened, right? I don't like that it could have happened and I could have had no recourse, basically. I would have had no options, right? Like if that guy like ran up to me, like what would I have done? And again, like you might say, well, Leaflet, you can run. Yeah, but what if I'm an 80-year-old woman, right? What if you're a person in a wheelchair? You're gonna go fucking run away from a psycho person? Like this is what I'm saying. Like this is what I've been saying the whole time. Is like I don't know how you could possibly be against people defending themselves. Like
It's and it's not like you can have a nurse help you with anything either, because the nurses are only there for you. And on top of that, right, like even if you have the insurance, even if you have all of the things to cover it, like even if you do have hired help around the house, if you're like an old person, because I would know this because my folks have been taking care of their grandfather, my grandfather, for like a while. It's not even really my specific grandfather. It's like from like the it's a what do they call it? Like a family, like this like family by law type of thing, right? Like they're just a part of the extended family. Like he's a grandfather from my extended family end of things, and like my uncle was taking care of his dad for a good while, and we would notice that a lot of even just the hired help themselves, like they will help around the property among other things, but they will absolutely they don't care. They don't care. They're just there for the paycheck. And if it what's even crazier is that they have no qualms about stealing from you either. They have no qualms about looking at your place especially if it's nice enough, it's in a nice neighborhood, they have no qualms about just maybe, like just carefully taking something that they probably know for a fucking fact you're not going to miss. They have no qualms about that. There have been a few instances, like definitely more than two, where the hired help at the property for my grandfather-in-law, he basically, or just my grandfather in general, basically was kind of robbed blind, not really knowing that the people coming into the house were fucking thieves. But yeah, anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Like, how would you get out? Yeah, what are you gonna do? Oh, just call the police. Yeah, okay, let me call the police and have them teleport to me, right? Like, what the fuck is this? And you know what this goes into? Actually, let me show you some bullshit, guys.
I think it takes the police, if I remember correctly, 30 minutes to an hour almost for them to respond. And that's before the pandemic. That was before California turned into the shithole that it was. I believe it took them like 30 minutes, like damn near 25 to 30 minutes to an hour to actually like make it to a location to provide assistance, like to answer a call. It's crazy.
Man, let me show you some bullshit. Bro, this shit is crazy. Look at this shit.
A safe neighborhood. It's what every parent wants. But real safety doesn't just happen. It's something we create together. With Patrol, you and your neighbors can book real off-duty police officers. These are highly trained professionals you can book day and night. If you see something off, report it instantly and know an officer is already nearby. This kind of action and peace of mind is what every parent
What the fuck are you taking my taxes for? What the fuck?
deserves. Real protection, powered by you.
God, this is turning into fucking RoboCop levels of fucking almost satire. It's so funny. We have literal independent police officers. How long until they form an organization? It looks like they already have one. What is this shit? What the fuck is this? We literally have went from relying on the government to pay to use our taxes responsibly to pay our law enforcement to now having just actual like fucking we have literal business funded police officers. That's crazy. We have literal organizations. It's that's just mental. That's just mental. That's mental to me.
Download Patrol today.
Isn't that fucking psycho? Like, this, dude, this is psycho shit, like, honestly. Like, you shouldn't have to pay that. Like, why? What do you even pay the government for? Like, the reason you pay them taxes is for shit like that. Like, it's crazy, dude. It's crazy. And then they don't want you to have guns. Oh yeah. It's bad to have guns, but just like use your app and like call the fucking police, and pay for it. Like, dude, fuck off, bro. Don't blame the app chat. Blame the game. No, true. I'm not blaming the app. I'm blaming the fucking government for making that even necessary. Shai says, I mean, we knew this would happen. There's a gap in services in California that isn't met by the government, so private companies are going to try to take over. Dude, that's so fucking dystopian. Like, that's unreal.
Yeah, it's basically like old Detroit. It's literally just RoboCop. We are going into the criminalized dystopian nightmare that is the RoboCop future timeline. That's literally where we're heading. And if it means we get those swank ass police vests at some point, sign me the fuck up. But that's just nightmare level scenario. Like, imagine living in a city as filled to the brim with violence and fucking dog shit human beings like fucking old Detroit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not blaming the app. No, the app is providing a service that the government is not providing for you. They should be, though. The government should make that irrelevant, right? Actual fucking cyberpunk. Yeah, soon we're gonna have like those fucking cards, right? Like, you're gonna have to pay like the fucking taxi to like
It's not really cyberpunk, it's modern
safely,
punk.
and they have fucking armed security following you. But I mean, and like the thing is like they don't want you to have a means to protect yourself. So it's like, oh, just use this app to like buy it from someone else, right? It's freaking ridiculous. Like the absolute tyranny on law-abiding citizens is actually insane. Like I can't even, like, it's malicious, dude. It honestly is. It's nefarious. Just the absolute harm, really, to law-abiding people. It's crazy. The amount of advantage they want to give criminals is crazy. Like, man. And guys, like, that guy wants to be, the guy who runs the state. He wants to be the next president. That could happen. That could happen in, like, that could happen in 4 years, right? Does castle doctrine exist in California? I don't know. But you can't even carry a gun in California unless you live in a very specific area, basically. If you live in a Democrat area, like a blue area, there's no shot. If you live in a Republican area, maybe there's a 20% chance you can carry a gun. It just depends on the area. Does California forbid? Dude, California forbids you from carrying so much shit. It's crazy. No blunt weapons, no telescoping rod, no self-defense launchers. All sorts of knives are banned in California as well, right? It's crazy. It's wild. What about a baseball bat?
I mean, that's the first I've heard of it. I think switchblades is the most popular one that they don't like to see people lugging around town with, but I mean, a lot of people carry blades. A lot of people. Like, that's one of the things that I usually carried with me when I was walking around California, was that I would just have a pocket knife. Just a straight up, just like a switchblade. Not necessarily like a literal, like, fucking, like, switchblade that pops out of its, like, that literally that you push a button, it pops out. That's the thing that I believe is outlawed. But they definitely, like, I do carry around, like, a foldable blade, usually, at all times when I was walking around town. Because, it's always best to be safe than sorry. Especially when, especially when, like, you just got off of work, you don't exactly have a bank account, and you're lugging an entire pamphlet, an envelope full of fucking 20s and 20s, fucking full of 20s and hundreds. Like, it's it's kind of a big thing. And even then, right, like, even if you pocket that money on yourself, like, the likelihood that you could just be stopped for anything is, like, is equally just as is just as likely to happen as just as just witnessing some of the weirder shit that happens around town. Like, it's probably just as likely to happen unless you're actually exercising some level of caution. Like, you have to walk, like, again, I walk away from people. I will cross the street to not have to walk next to people. That's how fucking, like, cautious I am, how vigilant I am, because there is, like, a lot of dog shit people. And, like, even going to school in California, like, not all of the young people there were dog shit human beings, but there were, like, they were certainly very chatty Cathys. Like, they love talking about the tea ad nauseum. Gossip was, like, the biggest fucking thing. At least in middle school. In high school, they kind of chilled out with it. But it's like, high school was, like, the time period where, like, the people who kind of gave a shit were obviously going to go on to go and do something that they give a shit about, whereas everybody else is just kind of like, let's just chill and hang out. Let's just not give a fuck. That's kind of how the atmosphere was.
I don't know. I mean, you can carry a baseball bat, like, for whatever. I don't know if you can carry it for defense. I'm not sure. You should look it up yourself. Sheepboy says, what can you do? Regular pepper spray and taser. That's it. That's it, really. And die. Yeah, you can die too. Canes, I think so. You can carry canes, yeah. I feel like you're disabled or whatever. Hide in the bathroom and call the police for wait 4 hours. Yeah. Basically, the point is like, you're subjected to the tyranny. You're subjected to the tyranny of people, of being at their mercy, right? Because whether or not a person kills you is not in your hands in California. That's my point. Especially if you're a physically disadvantaged person, like a woman. Basically, it's like your entire fate is in the hands of the criminal, of if they feel like killing you or not. Yep. Is an active PvP zone. Yeah, like
I'm gonna sound like such an asshole when I say this, but a lot of the women in California never really struck me as particularly smart. I'm just saying. Like a lot of women that were in that I've seen in California that I had the pleasure of meeting that were born and raised there. They're they're I wouldn't say they're the most they're exactly the most they're the most intellectually sophisticated people either. Like there was definitely some smart girls in high school, but there were a lot of fucking dumbasses and also ones with like a chip on their shoulder, and they were by far the most insufferable. But it's like they never struck me as being particularly smart because like even just the shit that I see from like the from the high school kids that I was going to school with and I never even talked to, like some of these people will just literally I will find walking just casually around town, not even paying any mind to like some of the shit that's going on around them, like even just like the casual glances that they will get by some people is crazy. And even if we're ignoring that for a second, just for like a second, just the idea that you could walk around as just like maybe like as a petite little dame that with no like particular like sort of like protection of like something that's like to defend yourself with in case you get in some type of trouble, and the fact that you don't walk around with maybe like your father or something like that, just to maybe with like a group of friends, like the likelihood of you getting, I mean, I wouldn't say attacked because they're not, like a lot of the times it's not usually that direct. Like, but like especially if we're talking like going out at night, that shit's crazy. You're fucking mental. You would be fucking stupid. You would be a dumbass if you walk around at night as a woman. Like I for one used to go out on night ventures because like I just it was kind of fun to a degree. Like I would go with a friend of mine. I would never go by myself, at least not typically. And like we would just go on a bit of like nightly excursions on weekends sometimes, and we would just go see what the city had to offer even at the dead of night. And as long as you stick to the streets, it's not that big of a deal, but I can't imagine being a woman walking around town in this kind, like even before the pandemic. It's like I don't know. I mean, again, California isn't as crazy as I make it sound, but like it's this weird shit does happen. It happens almost all the time, and I hear about it. I see it on the news. Like back when I still watched the news. Like you would see like all kinds of weird, bizarre situations happen, both in stores and especially out in parking lots. Fucking parking lots were like almost like the center stage for most of that shit. And then the amount of time people just for some whatever bizarre reason seem to give a shit about other people and their lives is kind of weird too. It's like I've gotten comments before just by random people for literally no other reason other than just because I just had the audacity to eat a salad while walking across the parking lot. It's crazy.
Like I said, like there was like that crazy person that like walked towards us, and I had no idea what I could have possibly done. And there's like the one that was fighting against a sign, and like
Actually, wait. I'm so used to saying that word that I kind of like it's become a part of the vocabulary. It's becoming a part of my vocabulary now. To be fair, I've only ever been stopped once in a parking lot, though I have been stopped at a few other instances around town. But that salad incident was weird because it was literally just a random person commenting on the fact that I'm eating a salad for literally no other reason than just because I'm eating a salad, despite the fact that I'm scrawny as fuck. And it's like, I just wanted to eat a salad. Back the fuck off, grandma.
like dude, it is such a mess. Like it literally just looks like this everywhere. Like here, I got another picture for you. Like it literally just looks like this everywhere in California, in like the cities. This is like typical California. These are like pictures I took, right? So these are like actual street corner. Like if you're there's a lot of people that go, oh yeah, I live in California. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. I literally took this picture at a street corner. This was like near where my grandma's friend lived, like just down the street. So like don't believe it when they tell you that California is not like that. It absolutely is like that.
Yeah, they probably live in the best part of town. They're probably the kind of people who would never actually see this shit. They probably live in gated communities. They probably live in a place where the likelihood of you getting mugged is almost zero. That's probably the likely scenario and situation, is that they live in at least a better part of town. Even just like a slightly better part of town, the likelihood of you getting mugged is not nearly as high. But the moment you walk into town, the moment you get to the moment you walk into the Human Bazaar, that's where the fun shit happens. That's where the action always happens. Like, it's one of the reasons why you don't also walk down alleys. You don't walk down alleys. You stick to the roads. Always stick to the roads. You will be fine, generally speaking.
In California, it's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, like, California, it is a fucking interesting place, to be sure. It is a shithole of all time. The people there are kind of dog shit. Like, I never always had pleasant experiences dealing with people there. I have had a lot of interesting stories, like, uttered to me by other people. I've also have just seen things that just make me make me want to avoid walking into town sometimes. It's, like, it's not, California, some parts of California are not that bad. Like, granted, there are parts of California, and the parts that I grew up in, at least, were not nearly so bad, but it could easily get bad, right? Like, I mean, like, I always hear shit about the West Coast. I always hear all kinds of crazy stories about the West Coast, but it's like, like, everywhere else, though, like, that, it's not exclusive there. Like, you can still find similar shit, like, people getting mugged, robbed, shot at, among other things, drive-bys. You can hear all kinds of shit like that everywhere. Like, it's just about, like, how likely it is to happen, more often than not. And, if you live in a decent enough town where the streets are at least somewhat cleaner, like, it's all, like, it's pretty fairly obvious that if you don't see a whole lot of grime on the streets, it's probably a better neighborhood. You probably don't need to worry too hard about, like, getting shanked or getting mugged, or among other things. But it's like, like, and especially if you, like, go into parks and some shit, like, it's not, like, maybe, like, near, like, you go into town, like, it's a big public area, like, the parks are clean, like, the streets are passingly nice, like, as long as, like, people, like, and you see, like, a lot of people around, like, it's you probably not going to be the worst thing, especially, like, if it's, like, we're talking, like, young high school level kids. At least back in my time, right? Back when I was living in California, like, it wasn't nearly that. It wasn't so bad. But, like, I can't imagine what kind of a place it is now. And I certainly can't imagine how, like, the amount of crime that happens now. I can't even imagine if those neighborhoods are even still nice anymore. But it's like, yeah, like, back when I was living there, at least, like, there were, some of the places look pretty. The weather is fucking annoyingly hot, but, god damn it, like, if it doesn't have its drungier spaces, its drungier moments, it is terrible. It is a terrible place. And again, the people there are not your friends. They're only about as much as they're only your friends about as far as you are convenient or useful to them. More, usually, typically speaking, like, and that was even true on high school level. Like, I think everybody had a general sense that once you like what, like as you move up in grades, as you switch schools, you're going to find that none of the people you're going to be going to school with are going to, like move on to the same schools you're going to. So everybody just kind of generally just didn't really care about making literal friendships. And so everybody's just kind of convenient friends, you know? But yeah. Anyways, that was So I Went Back to California by Leaflet and Asari. I'm gonna stop rambling about California. I like this creator. I really do. Like, she has a lot of interesting discussions and takes that I particularly like to engage with, kind of like like dissect a little bit. She has a lot of interesting like opinions about certain things, but she also like tends to a lot of those opinions are also things that not only do I typically tend to agree with, but she seems to reach like almost a similar sort of conclusion that I do about certain things. And when it comes to this one in particular, like, it's funny that her experience with California, going back to it, sounds terrible, but not surprising. It sounds bad. It sounds so terrible. The fact that she has to mention them in general, and it gets clipped into a video, in itself tells you just how fucking terrible it is. But it's like, because it's just that memorable and such a defining moment of that experience. But like, this is all stuff that I kind of that was already kind of there, except for the glass cases in the stores. That shit's kind of new. To be fair, that shit's kind of new. But yeah. But that was that video. Please go support the original video. Go like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want. Maybe share your stories in the comment section below, either my comment section or even in leaflets. Like, add more to the discussion. Maybe you guys have some interesting stories about your hometown, about your lives growing up. Maybe it's not near, maybe it's just as bad, or if maybe a little bit less so. I have no idea. Just do whatever the fuck you want to do. But yeah, I'm going to cut it there. Thank you so much for listening to my ramblings thus far, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. You probably won't be seeing this video for at least a few more days, but yeah, bye-bye.